This is Brandon.
And this is Armand. What up, y'all?
Yes, sir. We got the 1996 year review in hip hop, and we have a returning guest and a new guest tonight. I'm gonna let Dwight introduce yourself.
What's going on? It's Dwight, aka DJ Blake, aka the best in the world, aka favorite DJ.
And Zoe, our return guest.
What's going on? Lorenzo Thompson here. Blessed me with these brothers again. See what's good with the 96 review.
Yes. And before we even get into, tonight's proceedings, we just wanted to kind of get some opening thoughts on, what you guys, how 96 embodied the history of rap music. It very well could be one of the best years in hip hop, but it very well could also be one of the most tragic years with the loss of Tupac Shakur, and a few months later, the loss of Notorious B.I.G. So, Armand, I'll let you start. What does 96 mean to you?
Well, 96 means everything because that was when I started ninth grade in 95, so that was like the middle of my ninth grade year. And I remember going to photography class. I remember going to the gym and talking about different albums that came out that year. And it's like, I told you this before, B, that, a lot of times when you in the moment, you don't even know that stuff is classic. You just think that's just what comes out. That's the type of music that come out. So back then I didn't really appreciate it like I do now. Like, this stuff was hot, and the stuff we was listening to was crazy. So it was an amazing time because you can go out, not only was the albums hot, but around that time people still came out with mixtapes also. So even when albums came out, you still had mixtapes that came out like on a regular, where people just spitting freestyles over. So at that time, I was a hardcore hip hop fan. I mean, like, I was baggy closed out back then. So yeah, that was like the golden era.
Yeah, same for me too, man. I was like 6th grade, 7th grade, and Mecca, Pele, Low, you were just kind of coming into your own with the culture, and for me, 96 was kind of like it was an interesting period because it kind of was the beginning of a lot of the jiggy and flashy rap, and then the boom bap still dominated, but it was kind of the beginning of the Puff Daddies, and Nas even got a little commercial. So it was a mix, you know what I mean? And it's like you look at it now, and we were like, shunning Puffy for wearing shiny suits, but then like now you got like Young Thug, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, we thought a shiny suit was outlandish, you know what I mean? So it's like, man, even like the pop stuff had a little bit of rawness to it, because Puffy was still, Biggie was still right with him, and Bad Boy was still considered a pretty well versed hardcore rap label. So 96 to me was like a mesh of like the beginning of how the genre would kind of bend later on. What about you, Zoe?
I think 96 was definitely a pivotal year. I mean, obviously we lost Biggie, we lost Pac. You definitely saw a shift from, you already started to see a shift back with East Coast back in 94, but I think you saw more so 96 after Pac was gone. Snoop, with his turmoil with Death Row. So, you definitely start seeing, like you said, the Jiggy era, with Puff. But then you also start seeing, like, Outkast starting to get more shine now with their sound. Being booed from the Source Awards, but now starting to get that recognition now, as far as the respect was. So, and then, of course, you still had the Woos with the Soul albums coming out. So, around that time, obviously, Lil' Kim. We were talking about the Post earlier, so coming of age, a lot of things, I was in puberty around then, so, you know what I mean? So, definitely exploring, but, it was definitely a new sound that was starting to bubble, definitely around that time.
Yeah, Blake, what about you, man?
Yeah, 96 was a great year in hip-hop for me. Like, you had Lil' Kim, Foxy dropping their first albums. MC Lyte still dropping Hungry, so it's a great year for ladies in hip hop, which nowadays you don't see maybe one or two ladies drop a hip hop album. And you still had like Nas, Ghostface, a bunch of groups that was still relevant. So 96 was a great year in hip hop for me.
And not cut you off, but the thing about that's when Missy first came out too, because she was on MC Lights. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, 97. Yeah, but 96 was her debut.
Yeah.
And she's on Lil Kim album too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for listeners out there, we have 4 categories, and we're going to do, number 1 will be our best of the category, our number 2 will be the runner-up, and the number 3 will be the honorable mention. For the album category, it was kind of tough, so we're going to do 4 instead of 3. And we'll start off with your favorite / top producers of 1996. Armand, you wanna go off that?
Well, you already know my number 1 producer.
Well, we doing 3. 3 and work our way up. My bad.
So you gonna go 3 and go down?
Yup. We'll do round table like we did last time.
Alright, well, my favorite spot is Trackmaster. I was rocking with them, but they was doing a lot of people's stuff. Back then, that's all we talked about in school was Trackmasters all the time. A couple other people. So I'm gonna have to go with Trackmasters right now.
Like, you wanna go your third?
Third, it was a toss up with me.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Eric Sermon on third for 3.
E double. My third, I had to kind of switch it around. My third is Havoc. Havoc from Mobb Deep.
He number 3?
Yeah, we said 3. That's why we said Trackmaster was kind of thrown off.
Yeah. Hav is number 3 for me. And I explain later, like, once you see my other 2 producers, no, he was thinking Hav should be higher for me, right?
Oh.
Yeah, you go. I don't know who you're replacing with Jesus.
Yo, when you see my other 2, because Hav was number 2, and then I flipped him to 3. So Havoc only did Mobb Deep pretty much, and Nas. So that's why he's 3. And then he did a joint off Il Nana too. But my other 2 top ones ahead of him did way more. They did way more producing. So and it still was good content. So that kind of knocked Havoc out of the box for me. But yeah, it's still Havoc incredible. That we're gonna get on this later. But that grimy Queensbridge sound, one of the best to do it. That's my number 3.
My number 3, I'm probably gonna go with Organized Noise on that one. And I'm kind of debating whether I should put them higher or not, but I'm just going to base off the sound they were doing outside of what everybody else was doing at that time frame, whether it was East Coast or West. Nobody was really doing what Organized Noise was doing at that point, especially with the AT Aliens album, so.
Y'all sound real far away.
Real far?
So I can hear Brandon, but it sounds like everybody else is a little distant.
You hear me better now?
Yeah.
So I was going to rock out with my third spot with Organized Noise for the producer spot. I mean, as far as sound wise and everything else, nobody was really on their level as far as what they were doing at that time frame. Everybody had their lane or kind of fall in this category. That they didn't have really a category at the time when they were doing their thing.
Omar, you want to go with your 2?
I go with my 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock y'all head off with this one. I'm not even really going with a producer. I'm going with the Roots band.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with them because I was banging with Questlove back then. I used to play the drums in church, and I used to copy Questlove and all that stuff. I used to play their music all the time. So I'm going with the whole band. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's a right there.
Going with the whole band.
Damn, nice.
Yeah, for me, number 2, I'm going with Clark Kent. Brooklyn's Finest right there. That beat was fire.
Okay. My number 2 is I had to go JD, man, and not Dupree. Jay Dilla.
I forgot about Jay Dilla.
Yeah, he done. Yeah, I got another for you right back. You know what I mean?
You're right. I see what you're doing now. You putting God body people in those positions. I'm about to say you had Jesus and Muhammad, but you got Dilla, so you good.
Right. This is why Havoc had to go to 3 because JD. Oh my goodness, I was looking at the production credits for '96. the dude was going. He was getting it in.
Yeah.
You know, stakes is high. He produced half of that, half of Beats Rhymes in Life. You know, you name it, man. So I had to put Dilla in there for sure. And like I said, not only was he on so many vast projects, you know, he was doing diverse stuff. Like he was doing, you know, hardcore stuff with Busta, but then he was doing like a kind of neo soul, kind of hip hop base with De La and Tribe. So he had two different kind of swings to it.
Yeah.
So what about you for your number 2 producer?
My number 2 was different, and it wasn't so much for the catalog base because it was quite a year for him. But I'm going with Dre. Reason why I'm going with Dre was a couple different things. You think about what he did with Pac. Granted, he only made about 2-3 beats on All Eyes on Me, but that kind of brought Tupac back in the mainframe once he got out of jail. So I looked at that aspect. I looked at it was written him doing Nas, his first East Coast rapper that had a Dre beat. You know, so I was unheard of at the time. Like, here is a dude who's doing this West Coast Boys. He got with Nas there, and then to me that kind of opened up. Then segue with the Firm, his connection with Track Masters, and then everything as far as Dre starting to branch out from the West Coast scene.
So you looked at him like an orchestra.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I saw more like he was playing chess in the sense.
Yeah.
That, okay, I'm going to
'Cause
sprinkle because, like I said, 96 wise, he really didn't do
Didn't
anything.
really do
you know,
much,
I mean?
yeah.
Didn't do much, but I saw his strategic moves of what he did. To me, was planting the seeds right there. Okay, I can start messing with these New York rappers now. I can start messing with these people. I can start touching hands because he was off that throne now. So he had there was no more Suge to stop him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we on 1 now. So yeah. All right. Who your number 1?
In the long run, we could get it on, son. On, son. HAVOC. From the Rip, Havoc is my number 1. I was in Queensbridge, Shorty Buster back then, so everything that was out in Queensbridge, he was lacing, and you couldn't go into no club or nothing or no car without Havoc, you know, turning the beat up and just killing every beat that he got on. So it was like, I remember back in the day, people didn't really even give Havoc any props on the beat tip, but I was such a Queensbridge, like, are they forgetting about Havoc? Like, Havoc is that bull. You can play all Havoc beats right now on people's albums. You can put some of his best beats on a rapper's album. They would instantly be a classic, just off the strength of the production. So, like, I'm talking about 2015. So right now, my number 1 honcho bull is Havoc.
You know I ain't gonna argue.
Yeah.
That's you, Blake. You
Oh yeah, Trackmasters. That year was crazy for them. Like they did.
y'all showing Track Masters love over here.
Like that year was crazy. That like it was Rent and they did Foxy Brown album. Like that was a crazy year for them. Like I had to go with them on that.
They was on everything that year, man. They were just hitting everything.
Listen, they in my honorable mention bracket. Because number 1 is DJ Premier. Everybody else just sit down.
I was thinking Premier was like a toss up for me. Premier.
Reasonable Doubt, Friend or Foe, Get It On. It Was Written. He did the Power song with the gun. He was on Tribe's album. I mean, come on, man.
You right.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
Half of Firing Squad, MOP's album, it was Primo. And so that's why now you see why Havoc was going down for me, because like Primo was just everywhere. Like he was on J. Rule's album, J. Rule Damager, Rap for the Math. He was on Bahamadia's album.
Yeah.
So he was just giving it out there. I don't think Gangstar even came out in album 96, but he was throwing so much content out there. And I mean that's Primo, man. That's hip hop.
Yeah.
That's my number uno. About you guys?
I'm with Trackmasters as well. I mean,
Wow.
I mean that's because I thought it was Rent, you know, and I just saw and I was looking at the credits, and I mean that was pretty much all Trackmasters outside made 2-3 beats. I mean they had Primo, they had Havoc on there, but that was all Trackmasters. And even you look at after '96, they had a hand with Nori's album, you know, NRA. They had a hand with the Firm album. So I look at it on a strategic level that when Trackmasters came out, that's, you know, after people heard from what they did with Nas, it was like, okay, we need to have a Trackmaster. We need Tony Pope now. You know, and that's how I saw it.
Jay Dilla rolling on his grave right now.
I love Jay Dilla.
Man.
Oh, man.
Would you say, Omar?
I'm gonna have to change my John to get Trackmasters out of here.
That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all paying too much